I don't think Tat will be joining us today. He's a little bit under the weather. He might show up a little bit later, but he'll most likely be coming next week before us. It's great to have those that have come today to the soft launch of our new podcast, Finding the Why. And a little bit about Finding the Why. Finding the Why is a community of artists coming together to build relationships and disrupt the elite systems. It's hosted by Tebbs Gallery, and it's for artists by artists. Each week, Sarah Hardy, Tat Supreme, and myself, Kirstie Tebbs, will be weekly live streaming this podcast across Zoom and later uploaded to our YouTube channel. So make sure you do subscribe to the YouTube channel to keep up to date. There will be strong opinions and honest talks from professional artists and guests, from predjudism to bananss duct tape to a wall to exposés. A little bit about Tebbs Gallery. So we opened in January of this year. I say we, it's just me running the gallery. And it's for emerging established professional artists trying to blur the lines of having a hierarchy and even just trying to take away the predjudism that's within the art world. So it doesn't matter what your age, your gender, your ethnicity, none of it matters. We want to showcase your art and who you are because everyone deserves to be seen. Each exhibition, we do put a percentage of funds towards charities and towards future artist projects to keep all the costs as low as possible. I'll pass over to Sarah and she can explain a little bit about who she is as an artist.
Thank you, Kirstie. It's great to be here, and thank you to everybody who's joined us this evening. My name's Sarah Hardy. I'm an artist, but I'm also a therapist. So I've kind of had a dual career going on, which I suppose one's fed the other one over the years. I suppose you know as a therapist you get a look at a much more of a kind of a bigger look into the human psyche. Obviously it's not just kind of emotional stuff, but physical as well, so kind of dealing with the body, which is quite handy when you're doing life drawing and stuff, actually knowing about the dynamics of the body, how it moves, how it responds to things and stuff. So that is just literally an element of my work, and obviously being aware of myself and my life and my experiences. I basically have a huge passion for wildlife and conservation, and a lot of my travels have seen me go to Africa. So I've worked in wildlife rescue, rehab. I worked in Malawi with Born Free and in Zambia with Born Free as well, actually. And went to South Africa, worked with cheetahs. As I say, that's kind of a huge passion of mine. So some of my work, as you can see, is wildlife related. My latest collection is much more photographic, and that kind of evolved during my last trip. It's just like I suppose I work in cycles really, and because life is so diverse and rich and fulfilling, let it be, you can be inspired by so much. And one of the things I really, really love about art is that it's absolutely limitless, and it can be whatever you want it to be. And I believe nobody, because we have this thing at the moment, everybody's got to be authentic, but you try to be authentic and people are like, no, don't do it like that, do it like this. And it's like, that's not authentic though. You've got to be true to yourself, and you've got to be, as long as you're not harming anybody. I think art should be what you want it to be. And as well, if you put skill and time into it, kind of the more the better, I guess, from a certain perspective. It depends which way you're coming from. But I think we've had this discussion before, haven't we, Kirstie?
We have, yes.
So that's kind of that's kind of me in a nutshell. There's like an abundance more, but I'm not going to take over the stream with my stories.
It's great. And I absolutely love your artwork. It's absolutely fantastic. I think anyone who sees this should start following you. definitely.
Thank you. I love elephants. I think you probably realise that as well.
Yeah, and a little bit about me. I'm a multidisciplinary artist. I founded Tebbs Gallery, and I exhibit internationally. A lot of my work is rather abstract. I have worked a lot in sculpture and installation, but at the moment I've gone into 2D because of the pandemic, losing studio space, becoming a mother. All of this on top of each other has just completely shifted my art. As you can kind of see behind me, I do a lot for charities. I submit artwork to charities regularly, because I think art is not only something that I create, it's also a conversation starter, and it's a way to help, especially if you're not that skilled in anything else. And yeah, I'm currently studying on MA Fine Art at university, which absolutely pushes me. I'm not a massive fan of further education, in the sense that you have to tick boxes with your artwork, and it's something that I want to hit on, is this authenticity. It's so true that you have to be so authentic with your art, and it's something that artists completely struggle with, because there's so many pressures around you to make your art look better, or if you change this it will sell better, or if you're at school you have to tick boxes and do one thing that you know is exactly what you want to do in 12 other materials to kind of like prove that that is the correct material.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we were talking before about the guy who I met who was making his art out of cow dung.
Yeah.
Dried out, of course, but you do wonder kind of what it smells like a bit further down the line.
Yeah. I'm so cute. I would love to go see it in a few years' time, if it still looks exactly the same, or if it started to degrade a little bit.
Yeah.
How does he keep them? Does he have to like refrigerate them?
I don't think so. I think he mixes it with something and then seals it. So yeah, I've never looked into preserving.
I'm actually so fascinated. I'm going to have to look into it, because I remember I went to South Africa once, and they were selling all of these. They were kind of like gift cards made out of elephant dung and all these different safari animals, and you're just looking at it like, no, this is paper, but it's not.
Yeah, I've heard of that actually, paper made out of dung. And also, this is going way off topic, but I think it's just going to be one of those evenings. I think there was coffee that was passed through an elephant. And then, yeah, the beans were collected and rinsed and kind of, apparently it makes it extra special. But I don't know. I think anyway, I hope I'm not making that up.
It'd be a great imagination if you had just made that
I
up.
know. Well, it could be a business, couldn't it?
Exactly.
I just need to find an elephant.
Yeah. I mean, it's actually interesting putting it through and then collecting what's at the end. But it's also interesting what actually happens when you, if they take these sort of substances like caffeine, and that's what one of my series of artworks quite recently has been, what spiders are, what their webs look like when they've taken things like caffeine, sleeping pills, drugs, and that sort of thing, and it completely affects what they make.
Right. Your art's amazing. I love this panel that you've got behind you. It's just spectacular.
Thank you.
And you zoom in as well, and there's so many details to it. It's just incredible.
Yeah. It was quite funny making this one, because obviously with the kid I had to move all of our stuff to the side of the living room, throw down plastic tarps everywhere to make sure I don't get the wooden flooring or her toys, and I did it all, walked around wanting to take progress shots as soon as I put all the ink and acrylic down, and I ended up like standing on some of it. I think I slipped on one of them, I was like, oh my God, it's ruined. How am I going to fix this? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut it up and put it as tiles.
Yeah, no, it really works. It really works. It's really cool.
Yeah.
I actually started, well, I didn't quite start making tiles. I started in ceramics, but part of the ceramics was making tiles.
It is, yeah, all the dip tests and
it's really, I find clay just really cathartic to work with, and I always wish I had the space and resources to go back to it at a certain level. And yeah, it's just, there's something nice about it because you never really know how it's going to turn out. I mean, it could explode in the kiln,
yeah.
like everything. But yeah, even the glazes, you don't know how they're going to appear until you take it out. So
I honestly think glazes are just magical things, and I think that's I do quite a bit of ceramics when I actually have access to a kiln, and it's got to be my absolute favorite part. Even the unglazed parts, you don't know what color the actual clay is going to come out at or how it bleeds into each other, and it's just that magical moment, taking it out, letting it cool, and actually seeing what you've done.
Absolutely, yeah. No, it is, it's such a cool way to work. And raku firing as well, I used to love. But yeah.
I've been thinking about doing that because we've got a little wood burner outside.
Okay.
I'm thinking about chucking loads of wood in there, getting some low fire clay and trialing that, but it's getting around to doing it and plucking up the courage to be able to throw it in and let it fire overnight.
I've just got air dry clay. I've got one of them little blocks.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just I'll start with a thumb pot or something.
I love air dry clay. Whenever I do it now, I feel like I'm almost cheating.
Yeah.
There's something about it that I just feel like this isn't right. But I mean, it's a professional tool to use. There's no reason not to use it.
Yeah, maybe that could be one of the challenges.
Yeah.
Should we talk a little bit about some of the challenges that we might do on here and what people might want to kind of contribute, or kind of talk about what people want from this?
Yeah, that's a good idea. We want to really structure this podcast around what you as an audience wants to see. And so each week we're going to be doing a fun activity between us panelists at the end of each podcast for about 5 minutes, where we're going to get a roulette reel and spin it, and whatever it lands on is the activity we're going to do. This can range from anything like bad portrait art all the way to things like quotes we make up on the spot, or critiquing art that we see, or guess the value. And if there's any activities that you want to see us to put on the wheel, we would absolutely love to hear. And if you have any ideas of what you want us to discuss one week, if there's anything really important in the news in the art world, let us know. Hit us a message, comment below. We would happily talk about it.
Yeah, and don't forget to like and subscribe, obviously.
Yes. And share.
Absolutely. Sharing is caring. That's not one of mine. But kind of going back to news and stuff, kind of government cuts to the art sector. I'll let you, because I know you. I mean, we've both got very strong opinions, but kind of, do you want to start? Or?
I got very fired up about this. They want to cut 50% funding to is it postgraduate and education in the arts? And I was so mad when I saw this, because why would you cut funding to further education in the arts? I mean, it's completely ridiculous. It's not like it's, say, a undergraduate, the stereotypical undergraduate, where they are living in halls or they're living with parents and they don't have all these extra costs. If you're going into further education, surely that's showing that you are more focused on this career path. You have much more things going on in your life where you need to financially be able to cover it. universities need to be able to financially cover having further education in, to be able to offer workshops, studio spaces, potentially free materials, getting in guest lectures, getting that knowledge to those who want it. And cutting it is ridiculous. Yes, there might be other funding bodies that are going to step in and cover the government slack. Why should they have to? It's beyond what my comprehension, because if you look at the way other countries do it, even with Scotland, they have free education. I mean, I think that's mainly undergraduate, but in England, we're having to pay 9,000 a year as an undergraduate. We're having to pay 4, 5, 6, 7,000 to do an MA. We're having to pay like 8,000 and like up to 6 years to do PhDs. Why aren't we getting? Why is it all going to other countries? Why aren't we getting some of this? Why don't you keep the 50% that you are going to cut and offer and allow universities to offer it at a lower price so it's more affordable, and you're more likely to get more professionals in, more people upskilled, because arts is so important. Yeah. And yeah.
You know what it is. Sorry, go on.
I'm done, honestly.
I always look at okay, I always look at these things and I kind of think, what's the life value in them? And I think things like creativity aren't yet fully acknowledged for the health benefits. And it's like, you know, when they cut the funding for sports and kind of, you know, physical activity and all that kind of stuff. And obviously there's a balance in life, and yes, there are academic subjects that are really important, but does maths kind of make you feel healthy? Do you know, it's not, I'm not trying to look at it in a very black and white way, but when you think about the value of creativity and what it brings to the table, how healthy personal expression is on that level, and, you know, obviously kind of going back to the sports, keeping your body healthy, creativity is kind of keeping your mind healthy as well. And I know a lot of us have kind of, we've turned to it and for its cathartic value. And it's, I won't go so far to say it's a sanity saver, because we all know there are artists who've kind of, you know, been on the spectrum, and I suppose that maybe their disorder has enhanced their creativity, but also it's kind of, there's you know, there's two sides to it. And as I say, I'm kind of very much for the, obviously being a therapist as well, the health benefits of these kind of subjects. And it's like, you go through school and like everybody, you know, people choose their kind of favorite subjects, and it's like joining a, I don't know, I've never played netball, don't get me wrong, but joining a netball team and seeing it through until you leave school, and then there'll be no or less facilitation of, you know, being able to join in and stuff like that. So you drop off. So you might have got good at it, but because there wasn't enough resources, you just dropped it and you moved on to kind of real life, where you went and worked in an office. And does that make sense? I don't know whether I'm kind of articulating it in the best way, but maybe I should just shut up.
No, I agree with everything you're saying. Because I mean, in my secondary school, we ended up getting a new head teacher halfway through, and he wanted it to be a very science, maths, technology type of place. And at one point, they were going to cut the music department, they were going to cut the art and design department. We were going to be solely like technology, science, maths. But I mean, if they had done that, I wouldn't have been an artist. I would have been something completely different. I went to a college that was for science, technology, maths, and the art sector was not very well funded. We were in a outbuilding the other side of town. And I I mean, as an artist, a lot of it, you really do just have to deal with what you have, go against what sort of stigma of it's not a real job, and put yourself first, because it really is an outlet. Art has been the thing that has helped me overcome a lot of my mental health. And even if you look at the coronavirus and the pandemic, I mean, a lot of people suddenly took up art and crafts as a hobby, and it really did show that arts was that outlet. It was that way for people to be able to get through. And if the government cannot see that in this past over a year, really, that people have been taking up arts and crafts, and that is something that's so important, how can you cut 50%? I'd understand 10%, pushing it 20%, very pushing it, but I'd understand it. But 50% is a very big cut. And understandably, if they didn't cut it here, they'd have to find cuts in other sectors. But why such a big cut? Why couldn't it have been the 10% and cut slightly other sectors, spread it wide? Why did it have to be such a big lump in something that is so important in mental health? It's so important as an outlet. It's so important to live in, because imagine what the world would be like if there was no arts. It is going from the picture in the wall all the way to the design of a dustbin, to what you see on the sidewalk, to the graffiti on the walls, the colour of buildings, even architecture. We wouldn't have the buildings and the shapes and what we have now.
Yeah, no, I was going to say something. I can't remember what I was going to say. It'll come back, I'm sure. Tomorrow. When I stop thinking.
But it's just.
But yeah, I mean, the thing is as well, sorry, it sits so well alongside academic subjects as well, like science, physics, mathematics. And I suppose it very much, it depends on the individual, kind of how left, right, brain sided, or is that right? Yeah, kind of which side is most predominant, but it can, it can be kind of, quite widely applicable, if not isolated as a career on its own. So it's annoying to say the least, but
it's even looking at those subjects, arts is in them. You wouldn't have the diagrams, you wouldn't have the sketches, there would be no study books, there'd be nothing. It would all be words, nothing would be drawn out. You would literally have to get yourself a microscope and that to be able to see the amount of scientists, especially microbiologists, they photograph what they have and they edit it. NASA, all of the readings are coming in mathematics. They digitally edit it for all these amazing colourful things and what they see. And if you can, and if the government can't see that art is important to the scientists, it's literally a building block to all of these other subjects, that then it's just madness. It's just such a look upon, down upon it is.
Yeah. I think they forget everybody has different learning styles as well. You could be more auditory or more visual, or more kinesthesia. Yeah, is it? Yeah, I think
that word.
Sorry, wake up. But yeah, it's like it's kind of almost narrowing the field, and you can imagine kind of going through school without having your learning needs accommodated, and that could be disastrous. Going right back really, and kind of going back to old school where it's just like, right, sit there and write, and that's not everybody's way. But
and arts is so embedded from us from pretty much the time we are born. You look at children, you see pure art, or what I see is pure art. They get the stuff in their hands. They go, oh, what is this texture? What if I do this? What if I do that? They are so free from all of these barriers, all of these connotations and things that stop you from making art. They don't care about what's going on in the world. They're just going, what does this feel like in my hands? What if I did this? Oh, that's good. I'm going to do it again, type of thing.
Yeah,
and
absolutely. Yeah.
It's literally human nature. And it's like we've spoken before. You go all the way back to the cavemen, or people living in the caves. They didn't have a reason to do the art on the walls. They just went, we need to draw this. We need to put this on the walls.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
it's just embedded in us as human beings, arts and creativeness.
Mm-hmm. I think the beauty of art and creativity for problem solving as well, because the more expansive your mind is in that field, the more options you have available.
Yeah.
And if them options aren't available, you live life on repeat. So so you never actually come to any new conclusions, and you never discover anything new, which is such a shame. But yeah, it's
it's such a hefty topic, and there's just so much that we can say about it.
Yeah.
I think we should leave it there and say, sign the petition. Just type into Google 50% art cuts and sign that petition. We've got to stop.
Maybe we could put it in a link under the video.
Yes. When we upload it to YouTube, we'll put it in the comments.
Put it on a link?
Yeah, we could put links in the about in the comments. Shall we go on to the fun challenge? This week, me and Sarah are going to draw each other.
Okay.
So bear with us.
In the worst way possible.
Yes, in the worst way possible. We are doing.
Does anybody else want to join in?
Yes.
Would anybody else like to join in?
If you want to join in, do a picture and make sure to tag Tebbs Gallery, is it Sarah Hardy Art, Vivid Lily Art?
Yeah, Sarah Hardy Art.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Kirstie Tebbs Art. And we will reshare.
Are we doing mixed media or?
I've got a pen, a blue pen.
Have you? I've got a random assortment of things.
That's all right.
We should put some music on, like, Tony Hart. We should have had some of his music lined up.
Yeah.
When he did the gallery.
It's all right. We could make
just music. A bit of background.
Maybe we could do the elevator
I'm not singing.
Music. No. Do.
Okay.
Maybe silence is better than that.
Yeah, we should do this one week with our blindfolded.
Oh yeah, blindfolded and wrong hand.
Yeah. Oh my God, yes, that'd be. Hang on, right.
Oh dear. This has gone so wrong already. This is what's going to haunt me in 10 years' time.
It's okay. I once had an ex draw me and I looked like Medusa. I don't normally do caricatures. I normally leave them to my nephew. Perhaps maybe we should get him on.
We should get him on, yeah. Who did it better, us or the actual professional? Oh my goodness, right.
How long have we got for this?
I don't know. I guess we could do it until we're done. You know what would be good with
Are we doing backgrounds or?
We could do like a little giveaway of like 5 of each prints of us, of our bad drawings.
Yeah. Is Andy still around? Is Andy joining in?
I've added colours.
Oh goodness. Oh, are you? You're way out of proportion. Oh, this is such fun. Hang on, sorry, I've just stolen somebody's catchphrase there.
So what you need is the such fun.
Yes.
I don't know what you're smug about, but you look smug about something in this.
Me smug? I'm never smug. Okay, I'll put a bit of color in. Where's the silver? I don't have a silver pen, obviously. This is just going to go for millions one day, you know.
Oh, 100%. When we get like the 100,000 million followers that we're going to get in the future, this is like the original art, the first ever art we've done as a podcast. Right.
I'm just perfecting it here.
I'm doing the last little details.
You know, when they say to emphasize somebody's features.
Things are definitely emphasized. I think I'm done. Oh my goodness. I'm going to show mine up to the camera.
You're in for such a treat here.
These will be posted onto our social medias this weekend. Right, so this is Sarah. I did the head.
Oh, wonderful.
And then we couldn't see the rest of you, so we've got a stick. We have a cat, meow. And we have your future pet elephant that you're going to have. And
great, thanks.
Yeah, it's saying poo because I can't make elephant noises.
Fab, love it. Are you ready for yours?
Oh, I'm so ready.
Okay. You want a bit. So this is you.
Up a bit.
Oh, there, hang on.
Oh, fantastic.
There we go. And can't even speak. I've emphasized your shoulders. I think we're onto something here, Kirstie.
We are.
So I'm going all red now.
Oh, that's fantastic. It was the splitting image.
Yeah, I thought so. In fact, I think you could use that for your passport photo.
Definitely wouldn't get stopped.
So that was this week's challenge.
So yeah, if anyone has given it a go for me and Sarah, do make sure to tag us and we will share it across our social medias. If you've enjoyed,
and on LinkedIn, you never know what jobs are available.
Yes, LinkedIn as well. If you've liked what you've seen, make sure to send us comments, comment below, subscribe, follow, share. Everything else that happens on social media saves. And
yeah, absolutely. And
yeah, if you have
if you've got any suggestions, content.
Yeah. And any suggestions for fun challenges that we could do, that we could add to our roulette spinner. I forgot the name of it just then.
Roulette wheel.
Yes, that's it, roulette wheel. We will put it on. And And thank you very much for watching and coming, and make sure to watch us next week. Right.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Good night.
I forgot how to end this just then.